Here, let's light this
I see someone else who's about to come in here. It's look who it is. We have
What's up,
DR?
How did you get upside down?
Who's upside down?
DR is to me, but
DR's upside down.
I'm right side up to me, and you guys are right side up.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
DR, Steve, and Jasper
Hello.
live here on Bourbon Blog. How's it going, guys?
Jasper.
Good.
Great, man. How you doing?
It's Steve. Everybody started coming in all of a sudden on the screen. It was amazing how this happened. Well, first of all, guys, thanks for being here. And we're usually having whiskey backstage at one of your shows, and you guys are always so much fun to watch on stage. What's been happening in your world? I guess whoever wants to start. What's been going on with Straight White Paper?
Well, Jasper and I, Jasper, let's say hi. We've had this sort of, we'll say, dinner date on the books with and others, and that kind of got transformed into a Zoom thing. So we made we had a couple of recipes that we were both trying out from our respective abodes that went longer than we thought. So we are just sitting down to dinner, but we also wanted to join you guys and talk about some bourbon.
Well, thank you for that. That's great of you all. So this was a dinner date that you guys had planned out. You're gonna have a little dinner together,
and our lady friends.
Yeah, and lady friends. Are you doing the same recipe?
Yeah. So we did these recipes from a chef. What's her last name?
Salt, fat, acid.
Salmon. She did Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, which is on Netflix, which I highly recommend if you're into eating good food.
Very nice.
So she's got a buttermilk chicken, whole chicken recipe, and then this Persian rice that has got saffron and like a golden brown thing going on. And it's here. I'll see if I can.
Amazing.
I don't know if I can show you. I don't think I can.
These gentlemen are more talented.
I think the more pertinent question, though, for the Bourbon Blog is, what are you drinking with it?
We opened a bottle of the Linmar Estate Chardonnay.
Look at that.
Not sponsored. Not sponsored.
Very
But
nice.
I think for dessert, I've got over my shoulder here a litany of bourbons.
Look at all those great whiskeys. I was going to say, while you guys are having like this dish for dinner, Steve Morgan and I are having some whiskey, but you guys are having some whiskey too.
I am.
Oh yeah, so I'm probably going to go with. I've got a nice Sabiki. I've got some Old Foresters. I've got the Bullet Rye, the Bullet Bourbon.
Very nice.
I've got an Angel's Envy in the rum cask, which is phenomenal.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a great just after dinner. It's sweet. You just a couple ice cubes, and it's gorgeous.
I've got a Chicago local bourbon called from Cobalt.
Right now, this one's my favorite.
They're really nice too. Oh, some blends, I see.
And it's only
Blends,
because
yeah, sure.
out of the ocean, the Frank, what is it? Jefferson's Ocean. I'm out of that. So.
Jefferson Ocean.
Yes.
I have a little of that arm's reach, which we usually taste that with. Well, okay, now how about Steve? Steve up on the top right here? What are you having?
Well, today I've got the ingredients for a little Presbyterian. If it's a old school drink that my brother-in-law actually found. Little Bullet. I'm gonna pour that in there. Little ginger beer.
Ooh.
Top that off. Yeah, sure.
He's doing some mixology.
Little mixology, just a little bit. And then you do a little Rhubarb Bitters. I'm not at home, so I'm gonna act like I've got the Rhubarb Bitters. And then for the real pro move, you got to burn the orange peel.
Ooh.
So we'll get that going.
Oh, look at this! He has
Changes.
already.
I'm not messing around here, Tom. I bring the big guns for my Evansville boys.
Steve, I learned so much from you.
Steve always brings the big gun.
So pop that in there. Old school drink. The Presbyterian is it's a fan favorite. I make this for like everybody who comes over to my house, and they all love it.
It's great.
And I thought it would only be fitting to make a bourbon drink for the Bourbon Blog.
I
So,
just poured
so good
myself
are
a
you
finger
guys.
of that Blanton.
And we'll raise a toast. What's
So,
is there a
cheers.
toast that Straight No Chaser has that you do it when you're toasting?
Cheers.
Cheers is a good one.
I do have one I could
Oh,
throw.
that's what I have to tell. All right.
Too much work and no vacation deserves at least a small libation.
Oh, I like
Nice.
it.
I like it.
The curse of the drinking
I can
class.
dig it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Well, first of all, we got a lot of great followers. We're on Twitter, we're on YouTube Live, we're on Facebook. For everybody watching, we know that you love these guys. They do a great job. We see them every year. We host a whiskey tasting for them every year at one of their shows. Any questions you have about them, their music, ask down below. We certainly want to get those questions in. And I did already ask Steve. I wasn't sure if you guys were able to sing from other locations, but I hear there's some challenges when you try doing this. Since we love listening to you sing, but not as easy doing it kind of virtually, right?
Especially when you have one tenor, one old baritone, and one new baritone.
And yet that's still not the real holdup. The real holdup is latency, and it just sounds awful. I mean, I know. It's in spite of all that terribleness, that's not the problem. So yeah, if you want to check out our first attempts at it, we've got a little YouTube clip, and it's just showing us. We start singing, and then it just kind of gets slower and slower, and then we just stop. At no point is it any good in there. It's just you can't do it.
You've tried it. The timing's a little bit off. It's one of those things that's difficult to do.
Right.
That's right. That's right. So that's why the people who you see singing at home, they're doing it by themselves. They're accompanying themselves on the piano. There's not a locational difference.
When it comes to these kind of live videos, now when you all have done your recordings for your album, how many albums are you on now? I know it's quite a few.
Got 7 full-length albums in the can, 4 EPs. So yeah, quite a few.
This is a great number of releases. They're always so much fun. Have you ever recorded in separate locations through other means, or have you almost always been in one location?
With the last EP that we did, we actually recorded a fair bit of it from home.
Right.
But primarily backgrounds, things like the rhythm part, where as long as they're synced up and everything is lined up right, it's not there's no quality issue. We're not sacrificing quality by any means, but generally when we sing solos, we want to be in like a professional studio for that.
You want to be in right. It makes sense.
And even even with technology that's out there today, you can record in something as simple as GarageBand, right? And share that with other people, and they can import that into, again, something as simple as GarageBand, and then go through the exact same process that you would if you were in a professional studio. Now, so the difference is professional studios tend to have way nicer microphones, way nicer, the so-called interfaces and other things to help along that process. But, we've gotten to the point now as a professional group that we can do these kind of things from home. Obviously, there's nothing that mimics that closeness, right, and that camaraderie that you get from singing with each other in person. But in an environment like right now, we certainly have the tools necessary to do these kind of home recordings. And you've seen it. We've been releasing them.
Well, that's
a lot of fun.
Right, and ultimately that's what the digital age has done. There's a democratization of the music world, because now if you've got a $2,000 setup at home, you can create an incredible demo or an incredible track to put out there on Spotify and handle it all yourself.
Right. Lots of fans already watching. Not sure. Here, I'm going to put one of these up. Not sure where Kevin's coming at us from, but Kevin Sullivan says, "Love Straight No Chaser."
Thanks, Kevin.
A lot of great fans from all over the world. You all have been. I think most people watching know your story. A lot of them do, but for those of you that are not watching, or that are watching that don't know the story, who wants to tell the story of Straight No Chaser?
I'm on it for you, Tom.
All right.
We started back at Indiana University back in 1996. We were all part of the Singing Hoosiers there, a show choir, tours the world, tours the country, and we decided, we wanted to get together and sing some songs that were more contemporary for us, singing for food and girls. No higher calling could ever be had in college, those were the humble beginnings.
Yeah.
And so by year 2, we were in collegiate competitions. We actually got to sing at Carnegie Hall in the finals of the collegiate a cappella finals, and the legacy was created there. People started graduating in 1999, but the group's now been going on for it'll be 24 years this fall, which is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. And when you
we got back together in 2008 because our video of the 12 Days of Christmas went viral, and the president and CEO of Atlantic Records, Craig Kallman, well, actually his wife showed it to him and said, "You guys, you should look at these guys." And so they signed us in 2008. We all flew into New York, sang a couple a cappella tunes. They said, "Let's make it happen," and we've been going ever since.
It's an amazing story. It's an amazing story how people always knew about you, but how you were discovered in that massive way through a viral video. And as you look at what's happening now with how not only you all are using social media in different ways to put the message out to entertain people during this COVID crisis. But what do you see might actually happen with regard to artists getting out there, going live that typically weren't? How do you think this could make a big difference and is making a big difference for music?
I mean, I think it's doing. Oh, there we go. I'm in here. I think it's doing a couple things. I think it's giving a more ubiquitous platform to people who may not have otherwise had a platform to put out their product and do the thing. But also, I think it's forcing artists like ourselves to get a little bit more creative in how we reach the audiences, whether that's through, as DR said, using our recording setups at home to record songs together, or we've been doing live happy hours with our fans, where we've just been going on YouTube Live and talking to people. So I think it's going to spawn some really, really fun creativity.
Absolutely.
Well, there's this vacuum. I mean, there's a vacuum of entertainment. There's a vacuum in sports, and people just want that contact with other people and with somebody that they enjoy, whether that's
lost him.
Whether that's friends or there we go. Whether it's friends, the people they used to go see in concert. So hopefully we're providing something in that void. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
I know we're all struggling with it. I've got 2 kids at home. We're all trying to figure it out ourselves.
Hey, Charlie.
In real time.
And we welcome Charlie. What's happening, Charlie?
Chaz,
in bed. Yeah.
Kids are in bed. Good for you.
Good to see you, Charlie. We're
after 7.
And the group continues to grow. Charlie, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Woodway bourbon.
Charlie, cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers, guys.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Hey, so Tom, one thing that we've been doing, some of us Brits and Segi and I have been doing in the vacuum of, as Steve pointed out, entertainment, is we've been hitting up some of our friends in Napa and just doing some like wine tastings where we just get on something like this and taste some wine. So I wanted to see if you'd be into it. You should loop us in. We'll get Steve involved, whoever wants to be involved, and we'll do a thing where we do a virtual whiskey
Charlie,
tasting.
where does Woodway come from?
I think it's Texas. Julia got it to help me cope through the days of homeschooling. So
the homeschooling process, yeah.
Well, I get it. You've been doing some homeschooling and also having a little Woodway.
Yeah.
Do you have the bottle close by?
I will grab it. I'll grab it when we get a moment. Yeah.
And DR, to your point, and this is great. What a great conversation again. If you're watching Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all those places, definitely like this, share it with all your friends. Lots of people saying hi. I think someone wants to give a shout out to Charlie.
Hey.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tina.
Or Tina. Maybe. Might be Tina. But
I go by Charlet, so it's fine.
Charlotte is very good. But DR, talk about the wine tastings a little more. I'm curious about it. It does sound like a lot of fun.
It's very much just like this, right? We get on some sort. I think we use Zoom, right? But then we either stream it or we save it and post it on Facebook in some manner later, and then we just get online and we drink some wine. Sometimes we drink the same wine. Sometimes we pick out whatever wine we want.
Right.
So if you wanted to
conversation,
yeah, if you wanted to like send us a couple bourbons that we could all have like the same.
That's what he's angling for.
Then we could get on and we could all sip the same bourbon and we can talk about it and just hang out.
I've been drinking with you guys every day in spirit.
I like it. So you guys, some of you from Straight No Chaser have been doing that with wine, then.
Yeah, Sagi and I and our manager Brits.
Yeah.
So really just saying.
Let's look at that.
So our manager is working really hard.
Let's look at some whiskey we can get for all of you all, and we'll all sip it and taste it. One thing. Now, here's the thing. We were talking about Jefferson's Ocean, which I know we tasted our tasting backstage with you guys.
I love that.
Last December. I've been drinking some Peerless bourbon. I know that was a big favorite with you guys. But one thing I'm pretty sure that all of you guys have, not too far away, or someplace in your bar, is this wonderful spirit with your name on it. Right?
Never heard of it.
Hold on.
Is it close?
That's a bootleg.
Very close.
Very close.
Jasper,
There
that's
it
way
is.
too full.
And you can see
That's right, Dave.
It's been a rough quarantine.
It's been a rough.
This was the
right.
Kate's not letting me touch this one because this was the first one that she got after the first of the year. So I've already
Took 15 minutes, DR. That's a long time.
I've already drained two
That was
other.
your bottle number one, huh? So I'm gonna pour a little of this. This is really great. This is from our friends at well, first of all, it's from our friends at Straight No Chaser. Our friends at
Or we could do it.
Make it.
Or we could do a vodka.
We could do a vodka taste.
We could do a vodka.
Or we could do a vodka tasting.
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. Well, why don't we try some? Why don't we try some? Who wants to tell us about the vodka? Who wants to tell us about the hard truth?
Oh, Steve is breaking up a little bit, so I'll just jump in and say it's 7 times distilled.
Right.
It's made from wheat by these guys that Hard Truth Distillery in southern Indiana, a place called Nashville, Indiana.
Nashville, right?
And we were joking as we initially started talking about doing this. We were joking with the guys about, how bad is this vodka going to have to be before we put our name on? We don't put our name on it. But then we get down there and we tasted it, and it was brilliant. And the facility is brilliant. They've actually got some bourbon in barrels. It's going on 2 years age that they're really excited to. We're all really excited for them to release this fall. So, they do a coconut rum that's very good. They do a gin that's very good. The vodka, in our opinion, is the best. 90.
This is produced by our friends in.
They're in Nashville. They're doing great stuff. And the hard truth. Here's the hard truth. It's a distillery. It's worth visiting.
Yeah, exactly.
A bourbon and rye. They're going to be released.
This is number 2 for us.
Steve's a little laggy.
Number 2 for us.
Laggy.
That's because of all the vodka.
Is that what happened?
So we did try the bourbon back in March, right?
You did, yeah. Oh, yeah, you probably did, yes.
Well, we tried a sample of the Hard Truth bourbon.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be Tom, I can't wait for you to try it. It's gonna be choice.
It's great. Well, you may have had it since I've had it. I went to their launch of their age. So they do have an aged rum. For those people who are asking on the screen there, what else do they make? They make obviously Straight No Chaser vodka. They make a cinnamon vodka, which is really good. They make an aged rum, a gin. They do, and I have some of it around here close by. They have a coconut rum, which is amazing. But great people Look at that. There it is. There's the toasted. How do you like that toasted coconut rum?
It's phenomenal. I've been posting on socials about the different recipes that we did a castaway with it. A couple days ago, we did a coffee, like a brew, an iced coffee with some of this. Fantastic.
Ooh.
Really,
I put it
good.
over
Yeah,
over
this is
honey
it.
smacks in the morning.
Hey, for our friends
Delicious.
in,
Really just
in Nashville, Indiana. Hard truth.
Steve is so laggy.
It's so bad.
Is it that far behind, do you think? Is that what?
That's the good thing about the Straight No
Yeah.
Chaser vodka is that it's a cornflakes vodka.
Yeah, it
It is
really is.
corn
Yeah.
vodka.
Any corn product cereal,
Yeah.
just pour it right over the top.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Tom, this is I was way off on the name.
Yes. Oh, there it is. No, that's okay. Westward. That's okay. I have heard that one.
Yeah, very good.
It's good stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
just put a
making
straw
sure-
in that.
I think Steve is resetting there. But
Steve is resetting. It's fine.
Steve's going to be out by telegraph for the rest of this.
No, we're so glad to
Meeting.
have
It'll
all
be
these guys.
faster. I promise
It's
you.
so much fun to see you guys and to have a drink with you. But so one of the things you guys have, so check out the Straight No Chaser vodka. Check out from Hard Truth. Check out everything Hard Truth does. It's now in Indiana and Kentucky both, and I think going to some other states very soon. Also online. Let's try to bring Steve back in here again. But tell me what else has been happening. I know you all have been airing some of your
Grievances?
grievances. Can you hear us now, okay, Steve?
It's like Festivus, guys.
Yeah, I think so. I'm back for Festivus. I was gonna say. Gonna get out the metal pole pretty soon.
I think
Good
that's a little
time,
better on
'cause
Steve now.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
And you're gonna hear it.
But tell us what kind of concerts have you guys been airing on your social media, your YouTube? How have you all been utilizing this in a way to entertain your fans?
I mean, we're trying to feel this all out just like everyone else is. We're trying to. We miss being out there. We just had to cancel a tour that was supposed to end like 3 days ago. We were supposed to be back, and we're missing doing shows. I know Chasers are missing coming. You know, they have plans. They buy these tickets months out. So we're all trying to figure out a way to connect. And I think if there's any sort of silver lining to all this, is that I feel like everybody is thriving to connect more. We're realizing how much we miss that. Everybody, you know, just talking to friends, going to see a show, being able to shake somebody's hand or hug someone. By the way, I'm never shaking anyone's hand again after this. But
that's for sure.
I mean, it's been eye opening.
Got to learn elbow bump.
Yeah, we even do the air elbow bump, but it's been eye opening. So it's been a challenge for us, and I think it's a welcome challenge. And I think we're going to carry a lot of the things that we're learning from this through, even after we're back to doing shows and whatnot. It's a learning. It's a bunch of old dogs learning a new trick right now.
Right.
With Zoom meetings and getting these old concerts that we've had just sitting in a room somewhere that we didn't realize fans really wanted to see, and it's been fun for us to see it. So, I mean, if we can all grow from this, then there's a bit of positivity at the end of it.
Things you may have never done before.
Well, we always took.
You're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, something to Charlie's point. So much of our contact was doing shows, and afterwards we'd have a signing line where we'd meet and greet anybody who wanted to stay to say hello.
Right. Oh yeah.
And so now we're having to figure out how to do that kind of meet and greet virtually, and trying to stand everything that we've known on a personal level, on a human to human immediate interaction. Take that online, because that's what we're all trying to do. That's why Zoom is going crazy, and StreamYard, all these different platforms are going great. We're trying to figure out how to make those the immediacy of that connection feel as much so on your computer.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
I just want to take a quick second and apologize for eating. Jasper, his woman, my wife, and I had this like Zoom date going on for a long time. So the recipes took longer than we thought. And so we literally just sat down to eat, and it was like, oh, I need to call into this bourbon blog because I also love to drink bourbon.
I appreciate
I apologize for eating in front of
It's
everyone.
fine that you're eating. We're just glad. I like the casualness of this. I like the fact we're all hanging out. It's just, it feels real. It's
really
just guys. And for those of you guys, maybe you have or haven't seen Straight No Chaser in concert, but they're just the authenticity, the genuineness, the realness that you guys have as friends who've been together for a long time performing. It's so evident, and it's just so much fun. And you gotta go see these guys when they're, first of all, go listen to their stuff. It's up online now, but go see them when they're back out touring. It's just fun, just like this, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
Yes, we're always fun.
Just like this, we perform. we perform like we have something. We perform like we have something stuck in our teeth. So this is exactly like one of our shows.
We almost got a live spit take right there. Almost had a live spit take.
5 minutes later, Steve would have seen it.
That's fun. How you liking that Koval there, Jasper?
It is delicious. I'm a huge fan and supporter of Koval.
Put that a little closer. What is that?
Koval Distillery up here in Chicago-based distillery. Their bourbon is fantastic. My favorite product that they make is a barrel-aged gin. So they age this gin in charred white oak barrels, and they describe it as I've gone on tours at their distillery before and love it every single time. And they always say it's almost as if a gin and a bourbon had a baby, right? And I'm not a gin fan, but I will drink this gin every day of the week. It's fantastic.
But you are a Gin Blossoms fan, right?
Allison Rose, come on.
So another plug for the Koval. They started making hand sanitizer like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah. So just stand up, small business, making great bourbon, great liquors. Buy the product every time.
Yeah,
that hand sanitizer tastes amazing.
Yeah, so good.
Notes of cherry.
You think bourbon will black you out?
Barrel aged.
I've been wondering. You ever heard that term "clean your mouth out" when you're younger?
Right.
Wash your mouth out with barrel-aged sanitizer
from Chicago.
That's why Owen keeps asking me to wash his mouth out with soap.
Yeah. Tom, what can you tell me about that bourbon that Jasper's drinking? How would you describe it?
I think I saw it's a single barrel. It has some really nice barrel notes to it. It's been a little while since I've had the Koval. I do like it a lot, but I like that they make their own whiskey there in Chicago. They've been around for quite some time. They're making a variety of products. They're doing a really nice job. We had our friends on the other night about a week ago from Few. Have you had any of the Few Spirits, Jasper? They're from Chicago.
Yeah. Big fan of their bourbon and their American whiskey that they make.
Yes.
Oh, so good.
Good. Again, it is. They actually have it was kind of within my hands reach since we had them the other night. They do a bourbon that's been proofed down with cold brew coffee as well.
Oh, I haven't tried this yet.
So it's actually, usually you'll proof down a bourbon with water, but they use cold brew coffee. It's really good stuff, but they do a nice job. Are there any spirits from anybody else's home region? DR, your base where again is it?
I'm also in Chicago.
You're also in Chicago, okay?
Away from me,
right?
Yeah.
Steve, any Cincinnati, any Ohio products that you're a fan of? Beer, spirits?
Yeah, we've got one that's we've got some spirits here locally. Carrican just opened really close to us. They are another place that did some hand sanitizer just to help out the cause. And then Cincinnati's just got a million beers. I think what I've heard is like at the turn of the century in like 1900, we had 123 breweries here in Cincinnati. And so they had all this empty space, and they've started reclaiming those buildings, and just the brewery scene here is out of control. It's fantastic. I mean, every little suburb has their own brewery, and the product is great.
It's a lot of great spirits. There really are.
So Rheingeist, Mad Tree, yeah. I mean, we got Rheingeist, Mad Tree. Those are the big boys. But then you have Fretboard, Little Miami. Platform, Braxton. I mean, there's a million of them, and I've enjoyed them all.
We just
I bet you have.
about 2 weeks ago, we had Molly Wellman, who owns the bar Jap since 1879 on, which is in Cincinnati, which was fun to have her on.
Oh, that place is amazing.
Yeah, great place.
She's the premier mixologist here. I mean,
You spent some time with
her
her.
drinks are insane.
Yeah.
No, we had my wife's. We had one of my wife's birthday parties there. It was
Did
fantastic.
you? Wow. Well, cool.
Lasted 3 days.
Japs is fantastic. Yeah.
That is that good. It was good.
I woke up in the gutter 3 days later. I'm told I had a great time.
Tom, I think Whistle Pig's not too far from here. You've heard of Whistle Pig? I think that's over in Michigan, right?
Oh yeah, that's one you.
No.
Someplace, no, not too far away.
That's one.
Or Journeyman too is not.
Journeyman's over in Michigan.
Hey, somebody's asking about Chicago spirits here. Hold on one second. I'm going to put it up there. Have you ever tried the Malort? They've had it a few times in Peoria.
Oh,
What do you think?
So
Malort is not good.
It tastes like old.
If anyone from Malort's watching.
The best description I've ever heard of it was, it's like getting bullied in the 5th grade. It tastes like old tires and regret.
No, so
Wow.
I think that's in their ads.
in fairness to Malort, they have also started making hand sanitizer,
Which tastes better.
probably tastes better. I have not tasted their hand sanitizer, but I have tried the Malort. Malort is supposed to be like a black licorice liqueur, but I find that it tastes more like old tire.
So like an absinthe, it's distilled from wormwood, so it has that distinct, that like super distinct wormwood flavor too, right?
You're really selling it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been.
I know.
Charlie, it sells itself.
It's the finest Swedish liqueur.
It's old tires, but they're fermented.
I mean, I'd rather have a fermented tire than a not fermented tire, but still, it's tire.
Give me some kick.
Is this Goodyear?
No, it's
Michelin.
No, it's not Goodyear.
It's bad year. Bad year.
I guess there may be a crowd in Chicago. I mean, I've heard about it. I don't think I've ever had it. There may be a crowd in Chicago or that area that really liked it, but I guess it is something that strikes a lot of notes.
You know what, Tom? You know what would be more interesting for us all to do is let's get these local favorites that honestly aren't good, but they're favorites, and let's do a bunch of those. Like, what's Akron's best bourbon? Like, what's like Savannah, Georgia's? You know,
like
these ones that only people that live there drink it because it's so bad that it would never be exported.
Right.
That would be a fun tasting.
The Malort of other cities.
Yes, exactly. What's the Malort of?
I will happily send
Reno.
you guys bottles of Malort so that we can all enjoy
We should all do it.
I'm good.
it together.
I'm actually very down for this idea.
Nice, actually, Busch Light.
Right?
Well, I like the and it's always, I think, so when you guys are traveling, are there any favorite, because you go, how many different, when you go on a tour, how many different places do you guys go? You go quite
A million.
50,
Right.
55.
That seems hyperbolic, Charlie.
Yeah, 50 to 55.
Quite a few. Are there any favorite, I mean, I'm sure you love every location in its own way, but are there any favorite bars, any favorite spirits, things that you found in those regions that you all really look forward to going back to?
It's tough because we don't get we're only there for a day, so we don't get to we don't go out every night because we're acapella singers and we're old.
Even with
But,
an name like
Professionals.
I know. Well, we have bustas with coolers. But I think one of my favorite things about our rider at this point is we get local beers. We get, a 6-pack of local beers every night, whatever city we're in. So it's really cool to go around and get that little bit of local flavor. I don't know that we could do that well, we wouldn't be able to sing the next day if we did that with like local bourbons or local whiskeys or whatever. But it's
Plus, you might get a Malort.
Yeah. Hey, every once in a while you get a Malort.
Ooh.
Charlie, I'm going to bring you, if I can bring you some of this, Charlie, I'm going to bring this. This is Maplewood. It's real close to here in Chicago. And they do a lot of really great double dry hop, double IPA beers. Just so
I'm looking forward to getting that in 2022.
Exactly.
But we don't get to sample local bars. I'd love to be able to do that, but
so Tom, I'm from not too far up the road from where you are in Vincennes, Indiana.
Right.
And this is this it's like it turned into this local delicacy that you may have heard of.
This is now starting well.
That's not on the rider, is it?
No, I don't think so.
No,
not yet.
So basically, Tom, take everything that Jasper said about anything flavor with a grain of salt. That's what you learned.
Well, he didn't say he liked Malort, so there you go. No, and we, of course we want to say, people who like light beers, heavy beers. There's all sorts of that. But I did notice, I think when we were backstage, that you guys had some. In the Evansville show, you had some Carsons. I think you had some of the Three Floyds beer from Indiana.
Oh yeah.
You like trying the local beer, and
absolutely.
And maybe you should think about adding it to your rider.
Local bourbon.
Local spirit might be good. Even a sip of it just to kind of warm the voice up.
90% of the time, we're still going to get Crown Royal.
Yeah,
that's true.
I do feel like those smaller regional distilleries are becoming more ubiquitous, like more commonplace.
Yes. Oh, yes, they are. And right now is a time, especially during this crisis, that we really need to support local distilleries, because there are statistics that show that because so many of them do rely upon the restaurants, the bars, that those are going to be the spirits that may suffer the worst before bigger spirits do. So we want to make sure we say that. Supporting great brands like Hard Truth, Koval, Few, all these is so important right now.
That's the only reason I went to Maplewood and bought this now 8% New England style IPA, because it's a small business. Not because it tastes amazing. And I
if you wanted to support, that's great. And you got some beer to go then.
So Tom, question for you here, man. Yeah. Because there are so many local distilleries now, how do you keep up with all of them?
It's one of those, depending upon the region. I mean, when I first started BourbonBlog about 15 years ago, there was a certain number, and there was a certain number of new bourbons every month or every couple months. And then several years into this, it became difficult to, as one person, review, visit all of them. But fortunately, I do have some help with that, and we do the best we can, and we keep on putting the word out on the very best ones we find. To us, it's not about the quantity. Nice. It's about the quality, finding the ones we love. That is a great question, though, and I always love trying something new. I mean, trying something new. That's one of the fun parts about having this conversation every night. I've been doing this, what you guys are on the Quarantine Drinking Team series, for about a month now. So I have invited some brands that I had not tried, people I had not spoken with, and we've talked for an hour, 30, 40 minutes about spirits, and hopefully we've widened that knowledge for those people watching. But when this whole thing started, I said I'm gonna interview somebody new each night to keep everybody entertained, and I immediately said pretty soon into it, I'm gonna get the Straight No Chaser guys and have a sip with them, because
I'm all for continuing doing this, and especially if we pick like a couple bourbons and then do like a dealer's choice where we all get a different bourbon, and so we're trying something that we all have, but then trying something that we all don't have and talking about it. But Tom, what you just said was that you like to be on the cusp, and you like to talk about what the very best is. What right now, if you could drink any bourbon out there, what right now would you pour into your glass?
So, if it was a vodka,
on the spot.
I said bourbon.
Now I will say bourbon. So, The bourbons I have in front of me tonight, several of those are the ones that we tasted with you guys. Some of my very favorites. I have Peerless Bourbon. These are some of my favorites. I have a bunch of favorites though. I have the Jefferson's Ocean. You can see I've drank quite a bit of that one.
One of my favorites.
We mentioned.
You introduced.
What's that?
You introduced the Jefferson Ocean to all of us, and now it's kind of top. It's tops on the list for all of us.
Cool.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm a big fan. You guys mentioned earlier of Whistle Pig.
Whistle Pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I also really like distillery, and that's from Vermont. I also really like distillery from near Napa, California, on Mare Island. It's called Savage and Cook, and I think we had one of these.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is a bourbon,
Yes,
4 to 5 year old that was aged in used red wine barrels. It's Dave Finney, the winemaker's distiller. Actually, Annabelle and I just went there in January to Napa to see this.
Nice.
So those around me are some of my very favorites, but there's so many that I love. I mean, there's a Japanese whiskey that I love, and a good question, DR. I mean, it's and then
what's
sometimes
the Japanese whiskey you love?
Oh, the Nobushi. The Nobushi.
No, yeah.
Okay, because I've had one or two of those, and I didn't love them, but I don't want to be put off the whole genre. Nobushi.
Well, Tom. In general, would you say? Oh yes. Okay, you brought. I think you brought some of that in Evansville last year. Now, in general, would you say they try to go more neutral with their whiskey?
Well, it's and I like the Hibiki DR. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Well, what it is, it's malted barley from two different Japanese distilleries, aged in used bourbon barrels. So it's a lighter complexity, but it's floral, it's elegant, it's very structured. It really is good stuff. And
I find it to be on a whole sweeter too. But again, I don't have the experience to do Tom, but I find it to be a little bit sweeter than you get from Tennessee or Kentucky.
Right. And then this week you were talking about stumbling across things that I just like that for that week. I'm like, whoa, this cold brew bourbon, this really blew me away this week. I was like, it has.
Where's that from?
You can try that.
That's from Evanston.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love like I said, I love their bourbon, and they have this blend of they call it an American whiskey that is fantastic.
Yep.
American. It's American.
It's all situational, kind of like, is there a song that you enjoy singing? Is there a dish that you enjoy? I mean, the thing is, there's so many nice varieties, and every couple of months, every whatever it is year, there's a new distillery, a new release, and there's just no end of them. I mean, 20 years ago, there was only a few things on the shelf. Now there's look at that. Now there's so many. That's the great exploration. That was a good question, though. I like it when all these guys
keeps your glass full, Tom.
So,
Tom,
this is kind of a quarter turn on the question that was asked previously.
Yeah.
So, out of all of your quarantine, your nightly sessions that you had, is there one thing that has struck you as your favorite, or is there something that you have found surprising?
Well, I think wow.
In the meantime, Jasper, can you put that napkin down?
These guys are asking great questions. I think one of the most fun parts of it for me has been to understand that conversing with the distiller or a person who works for the brand, who intimately knows the brand, though it is powerful in person to do, it's also very powerful to have that, not that recording of it. Obviously, we love recordings, whether it's of your music, of a video that explains things. Charles not so sure, but having that real time energy, tasting something, whatever it may be, in real time with that real energy and real time conversation, to me amplifies the flavor, just like we're doing.
Yeah.
That I hadn't done too much of this one-on-one or several people tasting things in real time. I host many tastings across the country in front of people, but then just realizing as I'm talking, there is that interaction that makes a big difference in what we taste, that elevates that flavor. So if anything that I've discovered, I think I've realized how important this is. But as far as discoveries, I've tasted a few new things. We had Uncle Nearest last night. We We made some mint juleps with our friend from Chris Morris, master distiller of Woodford, the other night. And I tell you one thing I've realized: my wife's gotten to be a better and better bartender / mixologist. Hopefully, I'm doing pretty well, but she's so good at this.
Silver lining.
Good girl, Annabelle. Good girl.
Too good at this.
I will say Woodford is by far one of my favorite go-to bourbons.
What's that?
Woodford.
Woodford, me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just because one of my good friends works for Brown Forman. It is a very good whiskey. This Blanton's, though, right now, this Blanton's, I mean, vanilla, oak, obviously, maybe even a little honey.
Beautiful stuff.
A little bit of horse. There's a little bit of horse in there, right?
Well, not
just the manure.
Just the top.
Just the manure.
Just the top.
That's the boldness.
But it's going great. It's going great with the so we did the saffron rice, baked Brussels sprouts, and a buttermilk whole chicken, roasted whole chicken. And it's also going well with this Lindmar Chardonnay. Seriously, they're going great together. So
I bet they are.
What I love about the
Do a
wine
suicide.
and the food and the bourbon and the food is all happening right now.
I love how the alcohol in the white wine mixes well with the alcohol of the bourbon.
So
Or some bush light.
I sat down and I poured the bourbon because BourbonBlog, but I had this nice bottle of wine open as well. And I tell you what, honestly, they're going great together.
I can imagine.
They really are.
They can be complementary have characters. I mean, they really can be. Just like this bourbon finish and used red wine barrels. There have been some bourbons finished in white wine barrels, not as many. But the barrel finishing process, with whether it's port wines, sherry, Madeira, that is something that's being more and more explored with regard to whiskey, and vice versa. There's a lot of wines going in used bourbon barrels. Those elements in those barrels can really get on the whiskey. Hey, somebody had a question. Keep asking your questions down below. Again, if you're just joining us, I think you already know who you're listening to, but it's our friend from the Acapella Great No Chaser, Jasper, DR, Charlie, Steve. Ask your questions down below.
Your mom loves us.
The Impractical Joker.
Your mom loves us.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Steve's on the move like Jerome.
Someone asked Jasper.
I know. No, I'm vacating.
He's a former sports anchor asking Jasper, how do you get a name like that being from Vincennes? Are you guys rivals? Is that true? You're rivals, Jasper?
Oh, interesting.
So the high school in Vincennes is Vincennes Lincoln High School, and their big rival is Jasper High School. So yes, I'm from Vincennes. My name is Jasper. I'm named after my grandfather. But
his brother's name is
my brother's name is Lincoln, and so
his parents are divided. Basically,
anytime Vincennes Lincoln would beat Jasper in say a football game or a basketball game, my parents would get sent headlines of Lincoln embarrasses Jasper, or they're both family names, but it was just kind of an unhappy accident, I'll say.
That's a great question.
So you're an unhappy accident? That's how you're leaving that?
You know what? Yes.
Yes.
Stand by it. I like it.
All right. So I did mention that we had sat down to dinner at the beginning of this. So now I'm getting looks because I'm not helping clean up. So I am going to have to, thankfully, appreciatively, thank you for inviting me into this. It's been a lot of fun. I'll cheers you guys with my bourbon.
You're awesome. Thank you for being a part of this, and we'll look at getting you guys back on with some whiskeys.
Let's do this again. For sure. 100%. This was a lot of fun time.
You guys are awesome. We appreciate you all on.
I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.
Thank you, DR.
Alrighty.
No, it's
I love you.
We appreciate all of you being here. How is this period of time? Has it affected any music that you all have been working on personally, or how you've been practicing your music? What's it been like for you, just being away from each other and just being more quarantined this time?
So I'll jump things off and say, so I'm new to Great No Chaser.
Right.
I'm actually DR's successor. of DR stepping away to focus more on financial things. And
Cool.
My first tour was going to be starting at the end of March with the group, and so now I'm sitting at home practicing choreography in my bathrobe.
Wow.
It's kind of it's given me honestly a little more runway to be ready to be ready for the shows, but at the same time it's been a little honestly anxiety inducing, being like, okay, I'm ready to do the thing, I'm ready to get out there and be with these guys that I've been friends with for so long and starting to sing with, but we unfortunately can't, so we're trying to like give these turns and try to come up with more creative ways to kind of both stay in contact and also put out meaningful content to all the fans as well, right?
Right. No, and that's great that you're practicing. Which particular song are you guys all performing in your bathrobe when you get back up on the road?
Beyonce.
Charlie did that before quarantine, though, so this doesn't count. No, but Jasper's also doing some live streaming from his home, so he's entertaining the masses, which is fantastic.
I've seen some of his. Jasper, you're awesome. You're going to be a great addition to these guys. How did you guys find Jasper? Talk about that, because it's exciting to have him here.
In the gutter. He was
After a
met him in
bottle
the
of
gutter
Cobalt.
after
I've
Emily's
texted
birthday.
Charlie. I've texted Charlie every day for the last decade.
Yeah. Yep.
Seems
What's
like
my
overkill.
phone number? Say it.
No. So
Nobody knows my phone number.
I sang with.
Nobody knows his phone number.
Would you guys please just give me your phone numbers? I've been asking for so long.
After your first show, we told you.
After your first
show.
This is called probation.
So I sang in the collegiate a cappella group all 4 years. So I was at Indiana University from 2008 to 2012.
Right.
So I sang in what was then IU's Straight No Chaser, now has become Another Round. Indiana University's Another Round. So I've known these guys for a decade.
Cool.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Steve.
No, I was going to say I met Jasper because I was at grad school at the time. He was in the undergrad group. So I met him back in the day. Then, yeah.
Yeah. And so
I came to see their spring shows and everything.
Yeah. So I've known these guys for years and years. And as DR was kind of transitioning into more of this management role.
Womanhood.
Yeah. What do they call it? Sedentary lifestyle, I think.
DR, you still there? Oh, we just lost him.
They called me.
He has no repute.
2 days before Christmas this past year, and said,
yeah, something like that.
And said, hey, do you want to fly out to California? We want you to be a part of this thing.
Nice. And
it was kind of a no-brainer. I said, yeah, let's book a flight. Let's do this thing.
That's awesome.
My roommate who just ran by.
Co-worker.
That's
my roommate.
That's great.
Definite roommate.
And that's really awesome, Jasper. We can't wait to see you perform next when you guys are back on the road. That'll be really cool. How about you, Steve and Charlie? How's it affected you guys?
Charlie, go ahead.
Has this affected me? Not at all. It's nothing has changed at all in my
other roommate.
Other roommate.
What's up, boys?
How's it going?
He can't hear you. I've got headphones on.
It's good I can't hear him. Right?
No. It's all fine.
I know how Charlie can be. So
oh, man.
It's hard.
Spot on, though. Spot on.
Has it affected you're still practicing at home? You're doing your.
Yeah, I mean, we're having to shift gears like everybody else. We're going through a big. I don't know. We're recalibrating right now because we had things in the plans, not just the tour that was supposed to be happening, but we had a goal of having the new CD out on our brand new record label, and that's we don't want to postpone that. So right now we're trying to figure out how to do that, and that's why like we're getting better. We're doing all these quarantine sessions. We're putting out new music every week. We're doing things all from afar, which is a new challenge. Right. So that may end up being the way we record this CD. And in that case, it'll be 100% unique to anything we've ever done before, which is a great way to start our new record label. The first CD we do is probably going to be this quarantine CD. We've never done a CD where we're not all in the room together, where we're not sitting on the couch outside, outside the studio, being bored while somebody else is laying down their part or playing cornhole outside. It's going to be unique and hopefully special for that reason. So I don't know. It's I think that we're on the same boat that everyone else is on. It's just it's all different right now, and it's going to be different for a while, and we've got to make the best of it and make that even better.
And that new release is still, from what I'm understanding, Charlie, it's still a work in progress then.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to crank it out. We're not going to stop. We're going to crank it out. And it actually, as we've been talking about it, it's actually going to be a different process, and one that I'm looking forward to, because we're going to be doing it from home. So we don't have to be in one place all together at one time. So we're going to start real soon knocking out songs, and we've got till the end of the summer with nothing else to do except for hold our children by the forehead back from getting into the microphone. Like we've got time to do this. So hopefully it's going to be really collaborative and a special album because of that. So, another silver lining, hopefully.
Excellent.
So my take on this is much the same as Charlie's. It's just, there's a lot of things that I want to work on. And I realize how much I've come to rely on this 7 hours that my children are at school. I appreciate the teachers so much, because not because of just like what they do, but how much they love my children while they're there. And so like the time and attention that they need is time and attention that I now have to give them at home, which I'm happy to do. But then when there's something I want to work on, because I am very much a perfectionist, and like when I want to work on something, I want to get into it, and I'll forget to have lunch. I'll forget everything till the kids come home. We're like, oh shoot, we got to get back to real life, and that's just not an option during quarantine time, because we're all in this together. We're all in the same boat, and we're rowing downstream. And so that's been the learning curve for me. Trying to fit in the little times here and there where I can just like, okay, I need to work on this right now, and I'll give myself 30 minutes, go. And so it's been everything's a learning curve for everybody in every industry, I think. So that's been the learning curve for me.
Yeah, well, and that's some really important insight. I think we see so many musicians, artists, bands that are doing this sort of thing online, but to really hear about the challenges and the things you're learning is, I think, really important. So for people, the fans, you call them chasers, right? Straight up.
We do.
The chasers that are watching. What can they look forward to in the new release? Any teasers you can give us on when it'll be out or what they can be looking forward to?
We have no idea.
Okay.
No, but
we don't know yet. But yeah,
we don't know yet. But we've had some arrangements come in from some of our friends who we've worked with in the past. So we're producing arrangements. We've got some new original songs that just sound incredible out of the gate. We're working with some of our friends who are just producing some incredible stuff, and I cannot wait to get our voices on these songs. And so, I'm already excited to release it. We haven't even started recording it. So there you go.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah, no, it'll be soon. How do you think in general this, we're already talking about, and first, what I want to say, you've got so many great comments coming in. I wanted to put one up here. Topher Collier says,
Topher.
You know who Topher. Steve and I know Topher. There. Thank you.
Tom, what you don't know is that Topher and I just did the Wyoming, Cincinnati, Ohio, the suburb of Wyoming middle school production of Joseph together. He was the director and I was the music director.
Really? Just recently?
We just did it this spring. Like it was the last weekend before quarantine hit. So
that's
yeah,
incredible.
Topher and I, we had a great time with that.
I didn't know that you did that, but I knew that you knew Topher, so I want to put that up there. He's thanking you guys for the entertainment, stories, and fun during these unprecedented times. And I think he was even willing to, if you had an extra spot, when the gentleman left, he said he has an extra spot, so he'd be willing to be the extra. I think he would be probably great at this. Probably sang some with him before.
Well, let's see how Jasper does.
Let's see how Jasper.
Again, probation.
I started saying
he's got the napkin again.
Yeah, I think so.
But I think, and thanks for everybody for your comments. Everybody tuning in tonight. It's so important to have this conversation about music and about whiskey. These guys are so much fun to have a drink with and to listen to. Definitely check out their. Where's the best place to check your music out online? Where can they go?
SNCmusic.com.
SNCmusic.com.
You'll get to every link from there. You can always find us on YouTube. Just type
We've got
in
our own
Trino
YouTube
Chaser. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got our own YouTube channel. You can subscribe to that, and all of these new releases that we're doing each week will come right to you. You get alert about that. So check us out there. We're everywhere online.
We do tend to do we've been doing a live happy hour as a group, all 9 of us together, about once
every
a week
or so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So be sure to tune into that as well.
Maybe Tom, you can join us on one of those.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I would come to a live happy hour.
We would love to be back on here, and I'll do a group tasting of a bourbon together.
That would be fun. We'll make sure we get you guys some whiskeys, and we all have the same whiskey. Let's definitely talk about that and do that. And
be fun.
We should do that. What's the Chicago terrible one?
Malort.
Let's send that to everyone. Not tell them to open it yet, and then we do a live Malort tasting, and watch the other guys pretend that it's good. That's comedy right there.
We'll do one that's odd like that. Then we'll do some really good one.
Yes.
But in general, as we're looking at concerts as live performances come back, what are your all's thoughts? I mean, there's all these conversations. Whether it's Straight No Chaser or any band, how do you think they will change in the future? How do you think what do you predict will happen after COVID?
I think right now we're all just taking our cues from sports,
right?
Honestly, because sports are the happening each and every day. The pros will set the terms for the NCAA as well. So we're all kind of taking our cues from that. The first and foremost, everybody's goal is safety, and we're as curious about that to see what that ends up as anybody else. Whether that means you sell half of a house so that people aren't sitting too close to one another. We don't know what the final verdict will be.
Right. Those are some really important bits of insight, and so great seeing you guys tonight. Thank you so much for joining us here on BourbonBlog, and we're going to talk about how we can do a tasting with you guys, something on camera, because you all are always so much fun to have a drink with, and so many great people have been watching. Thank you all for watching us, and check out their music on sncmusic.com or wherever you stream your music. You guys are so talented. You're so much fun to watch, whether it's in concert, online. You're just really fun, great guys.
Thanks, Tom. We appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank
Always
you.
good talking to you, brother.
You're welcome. And join me, and you guys stick around just for a moment. Join me tomorrow night, the next night, every night of the quarantine. I'll have a new guest on talking whiskey spirits tomorrow night. It's Alex Castle from Old Dominick Distillery in Memphis, Tennessee. Just join us around 8 p.m. Eastern time every night right here on this BourbonBlog channel.
Real quick, Tom, do you do a different bow tie every single night?
I do. I do.
What's the repeat cycle? 2 weeks? Is it 2 weeks?
It could go on. I don't know if I've repeated it yet.
All right.
You know what? Here's the thing.
That's showy.
If I ever do run out of them for this whole series, what I'll do is I'll wear this.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Just cut that label off and just there you go.
Yeah, I could just seriously have this in my pocket, ready to go, ready to put on. It could be my instant bow tie.
I love it.
It's a great vodka, guys. Check this out too if you're watching.
Thanks, Tom.
Here's
Thanks, Tom.